gave the resolutions that focused on the resolutions that were made, which helped the SSIs in a major way. So, with the IPR 1990, the highlights of the IPR 1990 is that the investment ceiling limit for SSI was raised from 35 lakhs to 60 lakhs. For ancillary units from rupees 45 lakhs to 75 lakhs. For the investment ceiling for the tiny units also got raised from 2 lakhs to 5 lakhs, and the provided the unit was located in an area which is having a population of less than 50,000 people. And raise of the reserved items from 504 to 836 for exclusive manufacturing in SSI sectors. And it also helped the technology upgradation of the SSI. The government started Small Industries Development Organization, SIDO. So the investment ceiling limits got raised for the SSI, for the tiny sector, for the ancillary units, and also the reserved products under IPR 1990 raised from 504 to 836. The Small Industries Development Bank of India, SIDBI, got initiated, and then they extended the credit facilities to small scale industries. The special cells were created to encourage the women entrepreneurs in the IPR resolution, IPR 1990. So after knowing the improvements that were taken, the additions that happened in the IPR 1990, let's move on to understand the IPR 1991. Government opened a new IPR, the new Small Enterprise Policy 1991, and some of the salient features of the policy could be discussed here. So the salient features of the policies are, the first one is it aimed at increasing the vitality and the growth of the small scale sectors to improve the Indian economy. Second most salient feature is that, most important one is that procedural methods to require to start the SSI were framed. And the third one is the IPR 1991 focused on the deregulation and then the debureaucratization, debureaucratize the small scale sector, so that people will not be waited for a longer time to open a SSI sector. So basically it also helped the tiny industries that were allowed to come up anywhere in the country. There were no restrictions on the boundaries that were all the boundaries are opened up, and then the limitations on opening location wise opening of the tiny industries were removed. And it also helped in understanding the Partnership Act that was amended to suit the SSI. And the best one is that better market promotion of the SSI products were taken in. And IPR 1991 also developed a program for the export, and then the Export Development Center was also opened in SIDO to help the people or to help the entrepreneurs who are starting the EOU SSI units, export oriented SSI units. So these were the best and then the best salient features of the IPR 1991. Let's move on to the government policy resolution in 1999. Government took the steps to improve the investment limits. They raised the limits from the previous IPR to the next one, and they facilitated the foreign participation, training programs, promote the exports, and then they also announced the incentives to the quality improvements that is, and so on. So if any of the industry wants to go for the quality improvement, they help them monetarily, and they announce certain schemes also to help them to go for the next set of quality improvisation for their product. And they the formation of the new Union Ministry of Small Scale Industry happened in the government policy resolution of 1999. The turnover limit of the SSI was enhanced from 1 crore to 5 crore, and 100 rural clusters formation was proposed and then approved, and then it was announced to boost the rural industrialization. These are the highlights of the government policy resolution 1999. Let's move on to understand the next policy resolution 2001-2002. That is, the industrial policy packages for small scale industries got announced in the year 2001-2002. So it is called as industrial policy packages for small scale industries 2001-2002. The main features are the highlights of this particular the hosiery and then the hand tool subsectors. The investment limit was enhanced from 1 crore to 5 crores for the units in the hosiery and then the hand tool subsectors. The corpus fund set up under the credit guarantee fund scheme was increased from 125 crores to 200 crores. Corpus fund means it is an extra fund that is going to be supportive for the SSI sectors during the emergency. So there is a credit guarantee that could be given to the products that are going to be exported or to be supplied to the people. Directly this credit guarantee will make the people to invest and then produce, and then directly it is a kind of guarantee by the bank and the government to export the material to the desired client. So this got enhanced from credit guarantee got enhanced from 125 crore to 200 crores. So the credit guarantee covers was provided against an aggregate credit of around rupees 23 crores till December 2001. These are the highlights of 2001-2002, and the best one is that 14 items were de-reserved in the June 2001, looking at the scenario of the external environment, and it was related to the leather goods, shoes and toys. These were removed from the reserved items. And the market development assistance scheme was proposed, and then it was launched exclusively for the SSI sector. And 4 UNIDO supported projects commissioned under the cluster development program. Cluster development program also focused at forging industries, power looms, and then it was made to help the people who are the local artisans, and then who could be made, the kind of industries could be made as the clusters. So if we see this 2003 Government Policy Resolution 2003, there the highlights of this particular IPR is that 75 more items were de-reserved from the small scale sector, and lending rates to open the SSI sector was reduced by 2%, and more SIDBI branches got opened to meet the people demand and then make it more approachable to by the public. And all India census of SSI was carried out for the first time to understand that how many units are working all across India. So when we think about the cluster programs were to support the local artisans, local people, local skills, to make them to work in one particular cluster, and that area is known for the production of one particular product. So the policy package for the small and the medium scale industries in 2005-06 got evolved through the MSME sector, that is the micro, small and medium scale enterprises. So the government announced a package in 2005-06. The best features or the highlights of this particular scheme was that Ministry of SSI has identified 180 items for the de-reservation. Those were the best products in the initial stages, and that were reserved for small scale sector. But after that, due to the change in the environment and then the external market, these items need not have to be reserved under the small scale sector, and it got de-reserved from the list of SSI. So the small and the medium enterprises were recognized in the service sector and were treated at par as a SSI as the manufacturing sector. So both manufacturing sector and the service sector were given the equal importance and the equal kind of opportunities and equal kind of schemes. And the insurance cover was also extended approximately to 30,000 borrowers, and they were identified as the chief promoters in the small scale industries. And cluster development programs and the models were implemented in 9 sectors. These 9 sectors were khadi and village industries, handlooms, handicrafts, textiles, agricultural products and medicinal plants. And these are the clusters. For example, clusters of SSIs in India. If you go to Coimbatore, you will see the forge industries as a cluster, and if you go to Tirupur, you will find the textile mills as a textiles cluster. If you go to Ahmedabad, we will see the diamond as cluster. If we go to any part of the Gujarat, we can see in Ahmedabad diamond cutting and polishing cluster is there, and then Agate stone industries cluster is there. If we go to Maharashtra, there are stone polishing industries which are clusters there, and basically even the Gujarat has got the food processing cluster and plastic plastic product cluster. and packaging cluster. All these are the clusters that were announced by the. So similarly, if you go to Jammu and Kashmir, we can see the handicraft cluster, and if you go to Odisha, we can see the handicraft cluster and textile cluster, and then the local artisans cluster. Like this, each and every area is identified for the specialities and then the specializations by the local artisans and then the local people, and they were the clusters were developed there to support these kind of activities. So the Indian SME, small and medium enterprise cluster scenario is that the contribution by the SME cluster is around 40% in the industrial output, and 35% directly it is giving the boost to the Indian exports. It is participating to an extent of 35%. So in India there are around 388 documented clusters are there, industrial clusters. Around 3,000 handicraft clusters are there. 2,800 micro enterprise clusters are there, and 20 million people are employed in these clusters, and 3.57 million SSIs across 7,500 products have been running, and it is spread all across the country. And 350 small scale industries and 2,000 artisans clusters, they contribute to 60% of the exports. And in India there is a wide range of more than 6,500 MSME clusters in artisans, leather, handicraft, glassware, bangles. If you go to Faridabad, we can see the bangles sector cluster, and if you go to Jammu and Kashmir, we can see the handicraft. If you go to Odisha, we will see the handicrafts cluster. Like this, there are several clusters that are working around, and we can, as identified, there are around 388 documented industrial clusters are there, and 3,000 handicraft clusters are there. And high tech and then the modern clusters are also there, which are involving the machine tools, auto components, ancillary units. All these are there in the clusters. So this is about the Indian SME cluster scenario. See you all in the next lecture video session. Thank you everyone. Let's discuss the next lecture video session on the development of the SSI and also the other policies and other supporting agencies for the from the government towards the SSI, and whether they are the state level institutions or the central level institutions, and is there any kind of impact of liberalization, privatization and globalization on SSI. What is like a WTO, and then we will also discuss about some of the government support of for the SSI during the 5-year plans. All these we are going to discuss in the next lecture video session. Thank you everyone. Thank you.